The DOJ hands over 13 pages of missing text and emails between former FBI official Peter Strzok and DOJ officials Bruce Ohr and Lisa Page. The Justice Department previously said those documents did not exist. One America's John Hines speaks with Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton about these new disclosures.
I wanted to ask you a little bit because apparently it seems that some more records have been obtained by Judicial Watch through the FOIA lawsuit process between Bruce Ohr and Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. These are some messages that the Department of Justice said they didn't have. Talk about that and talk about why this is happening now and why they may have omitted this information.
Well, when an agency tells you they don't have records that they obviously should have, your suspicions go up. And in this case, we had Bruce Ohr testify that he met with Peter Strzok, and then the Justice Department says they don't have any records of any such meeting. And obviously that can't be the case, and that's why we sued. And sure enough, we got them to disgorge a set of records showing that not only were there communications between Ohr and Strzok, but Lisa Page was involved, of course, in helping set up meetings and such. And all these meetings were taking place around the time of the election, thereabouts, shortly thereafter, when Spygate was heating up in terms of the targeting of President Trump, or then President-elect Trump, and people associated with him, like Carter Page. So it's very interesting. They're having these meetings, and obviously we want to know more about what they are about. I think it's curious that even though Ohr testified that meetings took place, they told us they couldn't find any documents. And it's pretty clear they were there in plain sight based on the types of documents we received. Any diligent search would have found them. So you have to wonder, either the timing's an issue for them, or who was involved is an issue for them. Because despite what anyone says, Ohr and Strzok were key figures in the conspiracy against Trump, and the fact they were working together ought to raise alarm bells.
Is it possible the Department of Justice or the FBI has been lying about this lack of evidence that they've been hiding?
It's possible. The Justice Department is going to say, we looked, we couldn't find them, you sued us, so we looked again, and oh, we found them. So they're going to pretend that there was nothing untoward in their initial disclosure. They had no records. So we'll see. Maybe we'll have to investigate the Justice Department's response to our Freedom of Information Act lawsuit and request.
Your instinct would tell you what about this? That is this a deliberate attempt to hide something based on the actions that you've seen here?
This is an unusual set of circumstances where an agency denies records exist, and then they do the search again and find the records. It doesn't happen often. I can think, well, Hillary Clinton's emails, for instance. But in the run-of-the-mill type of FOIA litigation, or usually when records don't exist, it means they don't exist, or they did a diligent search and couldn't find anything, despite our suspicions to the contrary. Here, the fact that they finally owned up to some records raises some questions as to why they weren't found, and I use found in quotation marks to begin with.
Put this in context. What's the significance of this latest development?
Well, it shows that Bruce Ohr, who was compromised, corrupted, and conflicted in his dealings with the Russiagate affair, was working hand in glove with Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, two other individuals compromised, corrupted, and conflicted in the Russiagate affair. I would hope that Attorney General Durham, or excuse me, U.S. Attorney Durham, is looking at these types of records very carefully.